welcome to another episode of Lost and More Presents, and we are taking the time to really highlight some of our beautiful, talented entrepreneurial friends. And who else better to interview than the real estate matchmaker herself?
I can't think of anybody.
I can't either. Terri, I'm so glad that you decided to stop by our little shindig today and bless us with your knowledge on real estate and to share a little bit more of yourself with us today.
Yes.
So we're just going to kick it off real nice and professional and go to the first question.
Okay.
Who's the real estate matchmaker?
Me.
Okay. And what exactly is the real estate matchmaker?
Yes, so when I was first getting started about 3 years ago, and I was getting into real estate, and I was trying to think of a way to make it connect for tenants and landlords about who I am, what I'd be doing for them, and why it makes sense for them to hire me, right? And so for residential real estate, it's pretty easy, right? Residential, you help me find somewhere to live, whether it's for rent or for sale, it's super simple. But for tenants and for landlords, it's a little bit more complex than that. And so I would say, hey, I'm a commercial realtor in your area, and I want you to hire me, for your next lease or your next sale. And they're like, but why? What do you do? How do you help me? And so I thought of a way to make it connect for people, because when you're first getting into the market, if you're a tenant, you're dating different properties, right? You're seeing the property that has like the best demographics for your business, right? Because you want to be somewhere that will make you money. It has to be a destination where your clients either live or somewhere they want to go. And it just makes sense. So when I was thinking about it, I said, okay, we're dating some properties in the beginning, and then when we find a property that we like, we get engaged, what we call in commercial real estate the letter of intent, and then we negotiate that back and forth, and then once we say, okay, yep, everything is all good, then we move to the final stage, which is executing the lease or moving forward with the purchase and sale agreement. And that's essentially, comparable to walking you down the aisle. Everybody's married to each other, and you guys go on and live a happy life. So it's really about matching businesses with properties that make the most sense for their budget, their exit strategy, and their target audience.
That is awesome. That is awesome. But I love how they have this thing that they say, the kids say, make it make sense. Make it make sense. And I'm so glad that you made it make sense for us today, because I'm like, it's cute, but how does it work with real estate? But now it makes all the dang sense now.
Yes, so and it's clear.
It's very clear.
Yes.
And it makes sense. I cannot wait to get married to my real estate property.
Yeah.
I can't wait to walk down the aisle, Terri. So thank you for giving me something to dream about.
Okay.
So on a lighter note, if you were a movie, what would you be called?
Oh, that's hard. Let me see. If I were a movie, what would I be called? So I would see Good Girls Keep Diaries, Bad Girls Don't Have Time.
Okay, that's cool. Okay. I like that. I like that.
Yes. They say well-behaved women don't make history, so.
This is true. Think about Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
That's right.
Okay. What's the last concert that you went to see too?
Well, it was actually right here in Georgia. It was in the Battery, which is the Brave Stadium, and it was a 21 Savage concert. So it was like a equivalent to a cousin of mine. She's in PR now. She said, "You want to go to a concert?" And it was so fun. It was the first time I ever had the full-on VIP backstage experience, and it was just so nice. And he did a great job. I've never, I don't think I've ever been to a hip hop concert before, so it was good. Yeah, I'm a R&B or alternative rock folk kind of girl.
I get that. Cool.
Real emo kid.
So Terri, how do you describe the current commercial real estate market in Atlanta as of February 2021, and where do you see it heading?
Oh, well, actually, so unlike a lot of other cities and states, Georgia is operating at a much higher capacity than any other state. So we're actually seeing a boom in commercial real estate, especially for retail, specifically like restaurants or any uses that have to deal with like health and fitness, or what you say beauty, right? Because beauty, like haircuts, shaves, Botox, people consider that as a part of their maintenance, which is essentially their hygiene, right? So when you're sitting at home, you still want to feel like yourself. So people will spend their last like $20 to go and get, some highlights or something like that. So we're seeing a boom in retail real estate here. The prices, like the base rent, so you have, how it works is if you're leasing, you have your base rent, which is a price per square foot, and then you have what's called CAM, and that's common area maintenance. Taxes and insurance most of the time are included in there too. So we're not really seeing any price breaks. Actually, some of the spaces, if they were between maybe 1,500 and 4,000 square feet, have gone up because people who were maybe scared before to jump into a brick and mortar space are trying their hand at it because maybe they lost their job, or maybe they realize, hey, life is short, so I'm just gonna, take a chance on myself. And then also what we're seeing a lot of is folks are moving here from other states. Right. So, the small businesses can't survive being shut down for, at this, 12, 14 months now. So they said, well, we're gonna go where we can do business. So we're getting a lot of influx of just really cool concepts.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I think it's going to continue, and I always base it off of so I do like retail, more of the that side of it, but I always like to look at like the multi-family side of it too for the big complexes, and they're still building a lot of Class B and Class C, apartments, condos, things like that. So that tells me a lot of working people are coming to Georgia and they need somewhere to live. So, if they're coming somewhere and they need somewhere to live, they obviously need somewhere to work. Right. So I'm really excited about it.
Well, in that same vein, Terri, for the budding commercial real estate buyer, would you say that you have any ideas or any, tips for hidden gems around the city?
Ooh, yes. So I am loving Sylvan Hills right now. Okay. I think that is such a great neighborhood because it's nestled between like downtown and the airport, but you still have a lot of like lots and just areas of opportunity. You have the Tyler Perry Studios. You're near what's called Aerotropolis, so that's going to be a private airport, and they're building their own path that's going to be, I don't know, probably nicer than the Beltline. But yeah, so they're building that. So all of these things are going on within short distances of Sylvan Hills. So I think it's just a really untapped market. So I think definitely look over there. That's great. And downtown Atlanta, I think we're going to see a boom in some really cool concepts. The underground was just recently sold, and there's some, stuff in the works. I'm hearing whispers of Target and Planet Fitness and coming to downtown. And because the office space isn't as occupied as it used to be, I predict we'll see a lot of those be converted to living spaces, which is super exciting. I'm, a downtown resident, so I would love to have more residents in downtown Atlanta. So I think downtown Atlanta is, you can still, no other major city in the world can you still buy a condo in downtown for under $200,000.
Sure.
And you can do that here in Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
Not for long. So, not for long. So if you want to buy commercial real estate, buy downtown, buy Sylvan Hills, and let me see, let me choose one, and buy in Bankhead.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Buy and develop.
Okay. Well, on another page, Terri, what is one thing that you really, really want to do well, and why? And it doesn't have to be in real estate.
I want to surf.
Okay.
Okay, because I was like, oh, in commercial real estate, I don't know. No. So if it was commercial real estate, I really want to be a bag, in like as far as like developer or investor in commercial real estate. Like my dream is to own, you know, a couple shopping centers and maybe like some office buildings and things like that, and convert them into like esports centers, because I think that's like the next big boom. I love esports, and even though people are playing like virtual games, people still want to gather, and that's a major desire right now, is people getting into esports. There's so much money made in that. But just in general, I want to be a good surfer, and I want to learn to surf in Australia. So I've been saving that.
That's so specific.
It's very specific.
That's so specific.
I've been wanting to do it my whole life, and you know, Australia is not a short flight.
No,
so I could never convince anybody to do it with me. But now that I'm recently married, I'm going to drag my husband along.
Well, see, he has to go now.
Yes, he has to go. He has to protect me in the Australian waters.
Terry, do you mind sharing with us one or two of your success stories that stand out in your mind? You know, ones that really made you say, "Hey, this may be my calling. This may be my thing. This is good for me."
Yes. So you said good things.
I mean, success story. Sometimes success could be measured in not good.
Yes.
If it's something that pushed you to be successful, that was bad. Then
I'll do two. I'll do one where, like my husband likes to say, every missed opportunity is not a loss. So yes, he's a smart man, and so I said, oh, I love that. So this was a I don't know if it was a missed opportunity, but I was hosting an open house one time, and someone was coming in and they were talking to me about something about the property, and I just thought, like, I am not that interested in this. You know, like I said, I'm not that interested in it. And it was, I think that day was just like, you know, what is it? A series of misadventures, right? And so it was that, and then it was like the cookies burnt, and then it was raining when I had to go pick out the open house signs, because it was a house, like a residential house. And I said, you know, I love real estate, but selling houses is probably not for me, because these, you know, people, this is a major investment, and it's an investment that, you know, is the largest one most people will ever make, right? So you have to be passionate about it. You have to be engaged. You know, you have to like, you know, be on it and be sharp. And I just didn't have that. I said, okay, I hate baking cookies, and I'm not good at it because I burnt them. And, you know, I hate putting out like these signs on all the different corners just to get rained on. So I tip my hat to residential realtors, because it's hard work, it is dedication, and I couldn't do it. And so I was like, and I had wanted to do commercial from the very beginning, but you join these brokerages and you say, hey, I want to do commercial, I want to work with investors, and they say, yes, you know, you can do that, and then you sign up with them, and they say, well, actually, we don't have anybody to train you, and we only have insurance to cover residential real estate, so this is all you can do. And it was such a bait and switch. It actually took me 5 different brokerages before I found one that would actually allow me to do commercial real estate and was willing to train me. So it, you know, it was, that day was just, you know, confirmation that what I was meant to do. And the next brokerage after that, you know, my questions were better when I was interviewing the brokers, and you know, they kicked off. They helped me kick off my commercial real estate career. And then the other story would be maybe like my second or third tenant client, where they've been in business for 10 years, but they'd always been in someone else's shop. And they said, okay, I have my money together. There was a beauty professional who said, I have my money together. I want to get a space, but you know, I know how to do hair. I know how to do the business of beauty, but not the real estate part. And she trusted me completely. And we not only did she get another salon, but we ended up finding a space that was within her budget where she could turn her space into a salon suites.
Oh wow.
Yes. And so by her trusting me to say, like, I will find you something, I will negotiate this thing for you hard, because I am a tough negotiator.
Okay.
So I'll negotiate this for you hard, and I'll get you favorable terms, and it'll be in your budget, and we'll help you make money. And so now it's I think it's 13 suites.
Mm-hmm.
In her space. And so what she would have just been paying just in rent, she's getting 13 times that, right?
Wow.
And people paying her. So she's getting her rent paid for, and she has a beautiful, her suite is huge. So that and you know, and those people came to me to help them find spaces. The people, we filled that up.
Yeah.
And then those people, when they were ready to take to the next level, yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'm meant to do this.
That's awesome. So you changing lives one commercial property at a time.
Yes, because it's their livelihood.
It is. It really is.
Yeah, and if they can't make money, or if they can't be successful, you know, it's a partnership. That's how I think of it. You know, it's not to tell them
you haven't made your match.
and you haven't made your match. That's it.
Well, Terry, before we take a quick break, I want to ask you this last question before we go into break. You know, bills have to be paid. These commercials got to pay.
Yeah. I understand.
So, if you could go into a time machine, it's a two-part question. If you could go into a time machine, and first, would you go to the future or would you go back to the past? And who would you meet and why?
Oh man, that's hard. So, let's see. So I think I would go. I think I would go into the future.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would go into the future, and I would meet my great grandkids or great grandkids, depending on how far we're going into. So I would meet them, and I would talk to them, and because I would just want to see, like, you know, what they know. Legacy is so important to me. It's why I do what I do. It's my why. So I would want to know, you know, how they're doing, what they're up to, how's the world changed, what do they know about their history, right? Because even if it starts with me, you know, this is who you come from, and I would tell them about the past. I would tell them everything that I knew, and you know that they come from good stock. Yeah, so I think I would meet them and just kick it with them and see if they look like me. See if they were so lucky.
Awesome. Thank you, Terry, for this segment. We really appreciate it. We're gonna take a quick break and we'll get right back to it. Okay.
All right.
Lawson Moore presents the real estate matchmaker.
The King. I'm having so much fun with you guys.
I was about to say, we having so much fun with you. My goodness. So listen, let's get right back into it. Why Atlanta? Out of all the places in the country or in the world, why Atlanta?
Well, I just think it's beautiful here. And I went to FAMU, Florida A&M University, go Rattlers. And I would come up here for our classic games, things like that, and I always hated it when I was in college. I hated Atlanta. But when a friend of mine got engaged and I came down here for her engagement party, it spoke to me, and I saw it in a new light as a 20-something. And I just decided to make a go of it, and it's really nice to see Black people being everything. So from, you know, the janitor, the teacher, the mayor, the policeman, it's just nice seeing Black people everywhere. And I'm from New Jersey, so it's, you know, pretty diverse. But just to see it like so concentrated was just so empowering, and I wanted some of that.
Did you kind of feel like you were in Wakanda a little bit?
I did. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was awestruck. And I went to HBCU, but you know, that's college. So to see it out in the real world when people are making money as professionals, right? So it's applying all the stuff that you learn in college, and it it blew my mind.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm glad you made it to Atlanta, because had you not come, I would have never met you.
And I would have been so sad.
And all these people would miss out on Terry. Say Terry Bell. My nickname, sorry. Terri Brooks King.
Yes, I take it. I like Terri Bell. Sometimes I talk to myself and I say, now Terri Bell. Yeah.
That's how I do it. Like, oh my God. So, moving on to something a little bit lighter. If you go to a restaurant and you have terrible service, right? Is it ever okay to not tip?
Never. It's never. First of all, if you don't, okay, so here's my philosophy on tipping, right?
Okay.
So bare minimum, for every $5 you spend, you need to tip $1, right? And that gets you around your 20% mark. So if you don't have that much to tip, don't go out to eat. Get you something, you know, quick, fast, in a hurry, fast food, takeout. Now I know there's some people that have the rule schools like, well, you know, if they want to be tipped, they should include that in the price kind of thing. But I waitressed for many, many years when I was transitioning from, you know, corporate to entrepreneurship while I was, you know, waiting for my big bucks to roll in, right? I was driving Uber from 4 a.m. to 11 a.m., you know, trying to make ends meet, you know, while my deals came through and I built up my book of business. And while, yeah, you get the ride and everything like that, but you still rely heavily on tips. So if the service is awful, 7, and I would just, I like to give people a lot of grace, and so outside of like downright disrespect, right, to me and whoever I'm with, I said, I just chalk it up to maybe they're having a bad day, because certainly there's nothing that I did to them in 45 minutes. Right. There's nothing that I did in 45 minutes, so clearly this is not personal. And I just, it can happen to everybody has an off day.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. Would you say something to them, or no? This is just me. This is not an audience question, because I do believe in tipping. However, I do believe in pointing out the situation, the problem.
Yes.
I remember this time I went to Olive Garden, and this girl she gave such horrible service. Mm-hmm. And I, before I paid my check, I told her, I'm like, she was a young black girl, and I felt obligated to say to her, hey, your service was not on point today. Mm-hmm. I said, I feel really bad because I've been watching you and these other tables, and you just missed the mark, not just on my table. Had it just been my table, I would have felt some kind of way, but you really been missing the mark. And she's like, oh, well, today's my first day. I'm like, girl, you should have started with that, because I was about to de-tip you and not give you anything because I felt some kind of way.
Yes. Now I do, and you taught me this one time. You said we don't point, we guide. Yes. So absolutely, we guide. So it sounds like you guided her to the right way of doing things, and I believe in that, because I want people to be successful. Yes. And I do it after the fact, because I want them to know I'm not doing this because
Right. And I never want to embarrass anyone.
Right. So my thing in life is to build people up, not break them down, because I think it's so easy to break people down. And if you're really good, right, you can do it quick, fast, in a hurry, right? You can cut them down quickly.
Yes.
But it's much harder to build people up. Yes. But the results are a lot more lasting and impactful for both people. So I always think that, like, if you have something to say in business, especially in real estate, you're dealing with big leases and big purchases, and people are taking a chance on their dreams, right? So I have to be transparent every single day, but you have to do it in a way that's kind and can guide people to the right direction, and help them get the most out of their money, out of their investment, things like that. And you always have to be kind, because you have to build people up.
Awesome. You're such a sweetheart, Terri. I hope everybody watching today gets a moment to just reach out to Terri, and if nothing else, pick her brain as to this commercial real estate. world because she knows some stuff and she's all about it. Terri, this is, I don't know how difficult this question is going to be for you, but it's rather easy for me because I got a plethora of them.
Okay.
What was the worst lie you ever told to your parents?
Oh, man. Okay, I have one, and it's really good too because I did not get away with it. I didn't get in trouble, but I also didn't get away with it. So I was just learning how to drive, and there's this bridge. It's called I think it's like Trenton Makes World Takes Bridge, and it's so skinny, and I had to cross it for whatever reason, and I almost made it off the bridge, and I had a little scrape. Yeah, and so I had a little scrape. And so I got home, and they were like, "Well, what happened?" And I was like, "It's the parking lot." They came out the store. It was like this, and they were like, "It looks like you swiped something." And I was like, and they were like, "Oh, but then you just come from," because it was so where I'm from is like Trenton, New Jersey. So it's Trenton on one side, and that's Jersey, and then right on the other side of the bridge is Pennsylvania. And they said, "Oh, well, then you just go into Marsville for something?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "That's a sharp turn, isn't it?"
They got you.
Yeah. And my stepdad was like, "I've done it before too. Don't worry about it." So I mean, it was so common, but I was so scared because I just got my license.
Wow.
And I didn't want them to like revoke all my driving privilege.
Wow.
But they called me out right away. But it was such a bad lie.
Oh my gosh. We all got those.
Yes.
We all got them. Terri, what's your go-to karaoke song?
Ooh. Probably Whitney Houston, Dance with Somebody.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is my go-to because I cannot sing, but I enjoy singing. And so I feel like that's one of those songs that as long as I belt it out and my timing is good, I can get away with it.
Okay. Well, since we're talking about your favorite karaoke song, what is your favorite song that reflects or resembles your life?
Oh my goodness, these are hard questions. These are great questions. Okay, so a song that most resembles my life
Or reminds you of your life.
or reminds me of my life is Corinne Bailey Rae, Girl Put Your Records On. Or I don't know, I think it's Put Your Records On. Girl, yeah, so that's mine.
Okay.
Yes.
I see that.
So it's about a young woman staying focused and dancing to the beat of her own drum.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I love it.
Well, since you already have that insight into your life, let's just go a little bit deeper.
Okay.
Can you give me 3 words that describe Terri Brooks King and why?
I would say friend. Okay. I'm a friend to myself. I'm a friend to my friends, my family. I think being a friend, no matter your relation to someone, or even if you just met, you can still be friendly, right? So I think friend is one. I think oh man, that's hard. So many words. I think direct. I am very direct. I believe that communication should be clear because it is not. So when you think about encoding and decoding messages, right? So it's my job to say what I have to say as clearly as I can, but it's on the other person to decode what I'm saying. So I try to make sure that my words were as clear as possible, so that way what I'm saying and what the other person hears is the same or super similar. Because sometimes I think that's where we get into a lot of trouble, right? Yeah. And then the last word would be. Am I allowed to say I'm courageous? I don't know. Yes. Is that a word you can say about yourself? I guess that's about asking permission, right? So I would say courageous because I make a lot of moves that, don't make sense to anybody, and I don't surround myself with meek people, so people are never shy about saying like, this one seems a little out there, Terri, but it always ends up paying off. So just listen to yourself, hone in your voice really, really good, and just be courageous, just be brave, just go get it.
All right.
Yes.
Terri,
yes.
Would you rather be rich or famous?
Rich.
Really?
Absolutely.
Really?
Rich.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because it's money. I don't need anybody to know my name. It's not. It's nice if they do. But that money is a tool where I can get where I want to go, and I can get my future babies, grandbabies, where they need to go.
I know that's right. What was your favorite game as a child, Terri?
Oh, my favorite game as a kid, I would say hopscotch.
Hopscotch.
I did. I loved it. I loved drawing the squares on the ground with the chalk. I loved everything about it.
I loved hopscotch too.
I loved it.
I never did the principal. I just thought it was like hop, hop.
And Jacks. Do you guys remember Jacks?
No, Jacks was the bomb.
Oh, I would be so quick with the swipe.
See, that's what got me into tennis. I feel like my forehand became so good because of that Jack swipe.
Yes, I always forget that we have that in common, that we both grew up playing tennis.
Yeah. How have you been able to keep that same optimism and positivity over the years? Being that me knowing you personally, I know a lot of the things you've had to overcome.
Yeah.
But I still don't know how you've been able to keep such a joy and light about yourself. How do you, can you please tell us how you're able to do that?
Sorry. I don't know. So I think we talked about like finding your voice. Ever since I was like young, like a kid, and I don't know what possessed me. Even my mom would say, I can't wait till you can, buy your own clothes because you'll see how expensive you are. And so, but I've always wanted really rich relationships, really rich experiences. I believe fashion and creativity, thank you. Fashion and creativity and how you dress yourself, how you conduct yourself is a reflection of who you are. And bad stuff happens, but the sun always shines in the morning. So if something didn't go your way, I always just say, we can try again tomorrow. And that's just held true. Like, I just tell myself, you can try again tomorrow. It didn't go your way. What could you have done differently? And if I did my best, then I'm good with it. I can reconcile it all day long. But if I didn't do my best, or I found out that, hey, maybe I could have done something different, then I do that next time. Because life repeats itself. Lessons continue to come back, and different tests and trials and tribulations. But I just try to learn and grow from it. And I'm trying not to cry again.
That's what No, that's good, because I'm interested to it, and let me know. You know that you don't have to say anything you don't want to.
Yeah.
But I did notice that that question did pull some emotions from you.
Yeah.
Why did that touch you in that type of way? And is there any particular instance or situation that you were thinking of specifically that you can share with us that has helped further that light that you carry around with you so freely, and that you give away so freely to people? Is there anything or one particular situation that happened, or anything that you felt in that moment to get you emotional that you would like to share with us?
I think it's just like everything is just a combination of experiences, because I've had so many, like everybody, right? And so everybody has their own battles, but I've had so many roadblocks that I've kind of had to overcome. Sometimes it's like, you feel like you've gone 2 steps forward, 10 steps back kind of thing. And so all of my successes, all of my wins, were earned. And I don't know, this is a hot take, but I kind of hate the term like black girl magic because it's not magic. It's hard work, it's dedication, it's research. Right. Yeah, it's research, it's being teachable, it's being willing to give back, it's leveraging your relationships, it's investing financially in yourself. And so it's not magical. It's not somebody sprinkled a little dust and I was getting no one's, you got your wings. Yeah, I got my wings. No one did that for me, right? Right. Other people poured into me, mentors, coaches, friends, family. They poured into me, they believed in me, things like that. So yeah, and then I was just thinking about because I lost my dad in 2008. So I just think about like what I thought was important before then, and then how much my perspective shifted after that.
How old were you, if you don't mind, when you lost your father in 2008?
I was 23.
23. Wow, that's very young.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that aside from the grief and the heartache and the pain that naturally comes, do you feel that your father's passing kind of motivated you to dig deeper into yourself and find a place of refuge, not in necessarily your family, but in creating a legacy of some sort? Did it empower you to move forward? Obviously, it didn't make you sit still.
No.
You know what I mean? So I'm asking, did that have anything to do with it, or am I just overthinking?
No, it definitely did. So I'm very blessed to have the parents that I have. Mm-hmm. So my dad, and it's so funny because I didn't even think about it until I was like a couple months into being a full-time entrepreneur, and he was the main entrepreneur that I saw, growing up. And he was a Leo, so he was like, you can do it, just go for it, just try. And my mom, I remember one time I was having a hard time in school, and she said, well, Sade, my family calls me Sade. She said, well, Sade, you're like Oprah and Kanye. Maybe you just right? Whose mom tells them that? She said, well, maybe you're like Oprah and Kanye. So maybe you've gotten all you need to get out of school because you're gonna be successful. And she's right. Wow. She said you're gonna be successful regardless, right? She said so you can keep doing it, keep going forward, but don't condemn yourself when things don't go your way, or when your life isn't going the way that other people's lives are going, because what God has in store for me may be exponentially better than what I'm comparing myself to. So just keep on marching to your own drum.
Terri, thank you so much for sharing that, because it was a little off the cuff, and I'm sure you didn't expect it. That was not in my questions, but I'm so happy that you decided to share that with us and with your hopefully new family and viewers and things like that. I only have a few more questions.
Yeah, shoot.
Then Regis and I are going to give you your freedom.
Okay.
But we certainly want to just say thank you for pouring that out, because I'm sitting over here in tears now, because honestly, as long as we've known each other, I didn't know that your father was an entrepreneur. So for me, I'm like, damn, that's where she gets this tigeress, this lioness.
Yes.
I'm about to go make this, I'm about to do this, because since I met you, you have not stopped continuously growing. There has not been a level of stagnation that I've seen. Again, you've always been the first person to not only have a silver lining to give people, but you always been the first person. Even at our group, you were the first person to get a job. It was like 8 of us, and you were the first. We like,
yes.
I'm like, alhamdulillah. Oh, excuse me, are you Christians? Well,
yeah. Yeah, because you know what, Seven? No, in my mind, whenever sometimes you don't get everything that you go out for, but I always let people know that no one's gonna work harder than me. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, Terri, we got about 5 more minutes.
Okay.
And we are gonna close the shop up.
All right.
My last question to you is, in this game of commercial real estate, it's a 2-part question.
Okay.
in this game of commercial real estate, what is the most important lesson you've learned and the most important lesson that you could share with other inspiring commercial real estate agents?
Yes. So one of the things that I've learned and had to get really comfortable with is letting people know when a deal does not work for them. So you have to be really, really good at vetting buyers, tenants, landlords, things like that, and assessing their full-on situation to see what they're expecting, how much income they're expecting, how much money they have, how long they've been in business. And you can be a startup, right? There's nothing wrong with startups, but if you are thinking about getting into a space, have your business plan ready. Go on Fiverr, Upwork, have somebody do that for you, so that way you can choose a tenant rep, which is a tenant broker, to help you find a space, and they can present you to the landlord in the most advantageous way and help you win that space. Now, for people who are thinking about getting into career getting into commercial real estate as a career, one of the things I would say is that know your contracts. Know your leases, know your purchase and sales agreements inside and out, because no matter which party you're representing, they're depending on you to help them make a good decision. And if you don't build in protections in the lease or the purchase and sale agreement, or there's it's a lot of ambiguity. Yes. And there's a lot of ambiguity. Yeah, and there's a lot of ambiguity in there. It leaves things up to interpretation, which also doesn't protect your client. So realize that that's your job. Your job is to help your client not get a fair deal, but get the best deal. So help your client get the best deal that they can get and advocate that for them and protect them. So that's your job, and do it well.
Well, Terri King, the real estate
The
matchmaker, the real estate matchmaker, we thank you so much for joining us tonight. It has been a true pleasure. I cannot say enough. Every time we get a chance to work with you, it is always a joy. It is always a pleasure. I'm going to ask that you pick your glass up.
Okay.
And we're going to do a little toast.
Okay.
To you, my friend.
Oh,
to the real
thank you
estate
so
matchmaker.
much.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you to you.
Lost some more presents tonight.
Yes, yes. Oh, bye guys. Thank you all.
All right.